What's happening, guys? Bringing you a gameplay on the sexiest map in the game today. Now, most people think Hazard is really beautiful because of the amount of colour in it and it makes a change from all the other Black Ops maps, but I'm actually a big fan of the whole dour colour scheme, and with the thunder and lightning going on, the shades of grey and the neon lights and all that, I think that this map was designed to be absolutely beautiful. It may not be the best map gameplay wise, but by and far it's probably the best map to me visually, and I always make my gameplays based on the visual. Grr. Anyway, topic of commentary today is player movement. It was one sent in by a sub, so I thought I'd follow up and make it part of the map reading series, because player movement isn't exactly, well, it's not exactly a topic that makes much sense, you can say it like that. He basically wanted to know about player movement around the map at certain times. Now I'm going to focus on your player movement. I mean, last time I talked about predicting the enemy movements, and your player movement should be based around that predictive phase. For example, bring up the map. The big red area, the one building that I'm in at the moment, this is the be all and end all of Kowloon. One of your teammates has to either be in it, or you have to be denying the enemy access to it, because it has so many sight lines. It's such a valuable piece of terrain that it makes a game almost completely winnable for your team, just like WMD with the center building. It's one of those things that is just in there. Other maps may not have that one all-encompassing power spot, but Kowloon has one of the most important power spots in the game. That middle building is something that you always have to keep an eye on, you have to deny. Now the orange spots on the map, they are ones where people often go to. They're like places where people are ready up and be aiming down sight ready waiting for you, and the yellow spots are ones that people, you don't normally see them there, but occasionally a person will be waiting there and camping there and staying there for long periods of time, so you always have to watch out. Now these spots there, these bits of the maps again, basically what I'm trying to say is your movement should be dictated based on power spots on the map. Everyone can like recognize them after a couple of gameplays. You play a couple of games and you can realize, well, you know, most enemy teams go here, most enemies might sit up here on top of this building, or here or there. Now your movement has to be dictated by these spots, mainly due to the fact that one, you can pick up a lot of kills at these spots, and two, you are under extreme danger from these spots. So it's like two very conflicting things. One, you want to go there to hunt the enemy, and two, you want to stay away from them, or at least stay out of line of sights, so you don't end up getting picked up killed by people ready at these ready zones. So yes, let's just, instead of calling them power spots, let's call them ready zones, because for example the rest of the map, the pathways, the bits I didn't highlight, they're what you would call transition zones. People move between them. They're not exactly 100% ready for a gunfight. It's all based on reflex, reaction. If you've got the better gun skill, the better reaction time, you will often win gunfights. So you can often just safely travel through them and engage in fair fights. However, these zones, these ready zones, are the ones where if an enemy's there and they can see you, it's an unfair fight. Most of the time they will have their gun raised, they'll be waiting for you to come around that corner. So what you have to do is you have to bear in mind that these power spots, these ready zones, are the be all and end all of your movement. You have to move from spot to spot, and even if you're not intending to move to a certain power zone, you have to instantly, as soon as you turn the corner, raise your gun, poke your gun at it. Just something simple like that. Just make sure you're as ready as the guy that potentially is at the ready zone. So this goes with the prediction of enemies. You can easily figure out where people are just by, you know, assuming they are. I mean, prediction is not 100%. You can't always say like an enemy's going to be here or there, but as long as you're ready for an encounter, you will be set up for your gunfights. You will be a lot more successful as a player as a whole. So when you're moving around the map, always keep an eye out for these spots. Just give them a casual glance, turn your corners with your gun aimed at them. Just make sure that you're ready for the people in the ready zones, and you will basically become a much better player by just having a little bit more awareness than the next guy. A lot of the people that tend to stay in these power zones for an entire game, they are very, very tunnel vision. They're very, very aim down sighted. They are the kind of guy that will just stare there looking forward and not check out their back. So you can often use these power spots as flanking tools. You can often use them as scouting tools. But pretty much you should be able to figure out from your green triangles on your team's radar where you're situated, so the power spots that are most likely going to be the enemy's situated ones. The ones around the outside edge often aren't that populated. The ones more central map are, well, they're the spots that determine a team's win or loss, so you always have to be aware of them. So yeah, judge your movements based on the power spots, and you will do really well with the game. Tips and tricks and strategy from Olizandri. Anyway, hopefully soon I'm going to have a nice announcement. I'm not quite sure of that, but I've got a setup vid coming if you want to see it. I don't do setup vids for landmark videos or anything like that. I don't do it for sub counts. I do it for like special times, and I've recently got a nice new game setup that I want to share with you, and so I will give you a setup vid very shortly. And as this gameplay comes to the end and I go 35-on-1 on one of the maps that people don't generally like, let's put it that way, I will bid you good day. This has been Olizandri. Please rate, comment, subscribe and all that jazz, and I will see you around. Bump on the Respawn app. Cheers for watching.